Manchester United fans aren't just sad to see Alejandro Garnacho leave, they're scared, because deep down they know exactly what he can become.
Line in the penalty area, floated into the box, overhead kick, oh it's sensational from Alejandro Garnacho! Take a bow!
At Stamford Bridge, surrounded by world-class talent and backed by a coach who actually wants him, Garnacho could turn into the very nightmare United created and then let go. So the real question is this: will Garnacho finally explode in blue, and why do Chelsea believe he's worth the risk? When Garnacho first broke through into United's first team, the hype was electric. Some fans even dared to whisper the name, the next Cristiano Ronaldo. But 3 years on, that prophecy never quite came true, and it wasn't because Garnacho lacked talent. It was because Manchester United were drowning in chaos. Managerial changes, tactical confusion, dressing room drama, the perfect storm. How can any young player truly thrive in that kind of environment? And yet, through all the mess, Garnacho still showed flashes of brilliance. That elite pace, that fearlessness in 1v1 duels, that knack for scoring when the team needed it most. In fact, by the end of one of the worst seasons in United's modern history, no forward in the squad had more goal contributions than him. But then came the breaking point, the Europa League final against Spurs. A chance for redemption, a chance to save their season. And what did coach Ruben Amorim do? He benched Garnacho 90 minutes for United's season, and their most productive forward played just 20. Afterwards, Garnacho couldn't hide his frustration, saying, "Up until the final, I played every round helping the team, and today I play 20 minutes. I don't know. The final will influence my decision, but the whole season, the situation of the club, I'm going to try to enjoy the summer and see what happens afterwards." That was it. The trust was broken. The relationship between coach and player shattered, and from that moment on, the best solution for both sides was clear. United had to sell him, so the question becomes, is Garnacho truly the winger Chelsea have been waiting for? Well, let's find out. Did Chelsea really need another attacker for the 2025-26 season? Let's break it down. They had already signed João Pedro, Liam Delap, Jamie Byna-Gittens, and the Brazilian wonder kid Estevão. Add that to Cole Palmer and Pedro Neto, and on paper, Chelsea's attacking depth looks stacked. So bringing in yet another forward, at first glance it feels extravagant. And here's the thing, they didn't even look short in attack. Not long ago, Chelsea went head-to-head with Paris Saint-Germain, the reigning European champions, with the Ballon d'Or favorite leading their line. And Chelsea didn't just beat them, they outplayed them, they outran them, they outclassed them. So if they could dismantle Europe's best without half of these new signings, was another forward really necessary? Maybe not. But maybe this was never about necessity. Maybe this was about sending a message, a signal to the rest of the Premier League that Chelsea aren't building for fourth place, they're building for first. They're hungry for the title. And that brings us to the real question. Why Garnacho? Why him and not another attacker? He's not coming off a stellar season. In fact, Alejandro Garnacho hasn't been consistent for the last 3 years. But here's the real question. Is that fully on him? Old Trafford has been a black hole for talent lately. He's not the only one who's seen his form crash and burn in that environment. Take Scott McTominay. Just a year ago, United fans couldn't wait to see him gone. Fast forward, and he's Serie A's MVP with Napoli, a full-blown box-to-box machine, scoring, assisting, and leading them to a historic Scudetto. Or Antony, once the punchline of Premier League jokes, mocked as one of the most expensive flops in English football. Now, he's shining in La Liga with Real Betis, scoring bangers and earning standing ovations every other week. You're starting to see the pattern here. United hasn't exactly been the best place to grow. Højlund's potential feels capped. Kobbie Mainoo, a massive talent, has been forced to carry a broken midfield on his back, and now he isn't even playing. Even Rashford, a homegrown star, has stalled because the club failed to protect and evolve him. So maybe Garnacho's inconsistency isn't about a lack of ability. Maybe it's about being trapped in the wrong environment, because on his day, Garnacho is terrifying. He's not the type of winger who slows the game down with endless dribbles. He's direct, explosive, a nightmare in transition. He thrives on chaos, beating defenders with body feints and acceleration, cutting inside to unleash a shot, or going wide to deliver a cutback. His pace makes him lethal on the counter, and his confidence means he never hides, even against the biggest teams. At just 21 years old, he's already scored against Manchester City and Chelsea. He works relentlessly off the ball, pressing high, chasing long lost causes and forcing defenders into mistakes. And it's not hard to see why fans compared him to Cristiano Ronaldo in his early years. The flair, the risk-taking, the audacity. And here's the key. Chelsea know all of this. They've had their eye on Garnacho for a while. In fact, they inquired about him back in January. So this isn't just a flashy signing for the sake of headlines. Chelsea believe he's a perfect fit. They know exactly how they're going to use him. And the fact that Garnacho himself didn't want to go anywhere else, that tells you everything. Which leads us to the next question. How exactly does he fit into this Chelsea team? For Garnacho, this isn't just a transfer, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to finally work with Enzo Maresca. At Manchester United, he lived through a carousel of managers. Some gave him trust, others benched him. And under Ruben Amorim, the relationship completely broke down. Inconsistent trust, inconsistent roles, inconsistent results. But at Chelsea, it's different. Maresca has built a clear identity, a structure, a system that not only wins, but makes players better. Think about it. This was a group once dismissed as young and unexciting to watch. Under Maresca, they became world champions. No wonder every elite young talent in Europe now wants to wear blue. Take Moises Caicedo. Klopp literally ridiculed him in his farewell speech at Anfield, saying, "My God, we were lucky." A season later, Caicedo is Chelsea's player of the season. Or Enzo Fernandez, labeled a flop after his record fee. Under Maresca, he didn't just bounce back, he became the heartbeat of the team, finishing the season with 17 assists. Cole Palmer, he didn't quite hit the insane numbers of his breakout year, but still, only Mohamed Salah registered more goal contributions. Levi Colwill grew into the backbone of Chelsea's build-up play. Even Marc Cucurella, once on the brink of a loan to Manchester United, is now considered one of the best left-backs in the world. That's what Maresca does. He turns doubt into dominance. And that's exactly why Garnacho wanted Chelsea, and nowhere else. But the real question is, how does he actually fit into this Chelsea team? Garnacho can play on either wing, but at Chelsea, he'll almost certainly be used on the left. And that's important, because in this squad, there's really only one natural right-footed winger in Jamie Bino-Gittens. On paper, you might think the two are competing for the same role, but in reality, they're completely different profiles, and that's exactly why Chelsea wanted both. Garnacho is a pure left winger, right-footed, explosive, loves to cut inside and let fly. Gittens, he's also right-footed, but far more versatile, happy on either wing, comfortable switching flanks. Garnacho is direct. He thrives on chaos, sprinting into space, isolating defenders, and going for goal. He lives for risk, flair, and that killer final action. Bino-Gittens is more technical. He thrives in tight spaces, loves link-up play, and focuses on creating chances through patience and combinations. The classic Dortmund schooling. Garnacho brings pace, acceleration, fearless 1-versus-1 duels, and a real finishing instinct. He's a goal threat every time he cuts in. Gittens offers ball control, vision, composure in build-up, a creative spark when the game slows down. But here's the point. That's exactly what Enzo Maresca wants. Two different weapons, two different solutions. When teams sit deep, Gittens can unlock them with patience and creativity. When games stretch open, Garnacho's chaos can rip them apart. That's why Chelsea signed him, not just for depth, not just for headlines, but to give Maresca another way to win. And for Garnacho, this transfer isn't just a new chapter, it's a shot at redemption, a chance to prove Manchester United wrong. And maybe, just maybe, it's the perfect place for him to finally shine.